Okay, so the session is started recording. So now, once you go to that particular link, you can navigate your cursor to the download button. There you can find the download for, since my operating system is Mac, it will automatically detect the operating system. Based on that, it will give you the binary file actually. So in your case, you might see download for Windows, or you might see download for Linux. Yeah, whatever. Just you can click on the Python 3.10.8 for your respective operating system. And we know this is the latest version of Python. We are going to learn Python on this particular version itself. So once it is done, you will somewhere you will find your downloaded code, with either it can be a .exe, or in case of Linux it is .rmp, something like that. But you could find that into the downloads session, or downloads folder, or somewhere wherever you are downloading it, right? So now, so let me, this is the first step. You can click on the Python 3.8. The next step is we have to install that just by double click on the particular installation wherever you got it, wherever you download it. You have to double click that one. So once you double click that one, you will find this kind of page. I hope you are all following. Maybe it will take some time to download. I know that. But I wanted to make sure everyone is going to install the Python in this session itself, right? So now, once you double click on the downloaded software, downloaded file, you will see this kind of a page: install Python 3.10.8 64-bit something. Initially, you will see something like this, and this is very important step. If you miss that one, we cannot run Python on our everywhere. Like we cannot run Python wherever you want. We have to definitely check this box, like add python.exe to the path that I have highlighted in my next slide. See this? So this should be the mandatory step. Otherwise, your Python will not be executed anywhere from your computer. You need to execute only, if you want it to execute only where it has downloaded from, then only there only you can execute it, if you don't check this box. Because it will identify, your operating system will identify the path of the Python where it has installed. That is the reason we have to definitely check this box, right? In case of Linux and in case of Mac, it will be automatically installed in the root directory. So we don't need to worry about that step. But since it is specifically for Windows, I have taken this screenshot from the Windows. So you have to mandatorily check this box. Otherwise, it won't work. Now, once this step is done, once you check this box, your next step would be you have to click on the install now. So you have to click on install now part, and from here onwards it is fine. So from here onwards, you can just say next, next, and something like that. So once you click on the install now, and don't go with the customized installation. So don't go with the customized installation has some special maybe it is going to install some minimal Python, but we don't want that. We want the full installation of Python. Obviously, it is going to install somewhere in your local directory, under that programs, under Python, under that it will install with Python 3.1.0. And one more thing, if you don't add this checkbox, you have to add the path manually. But I don't want to do that. It's a bit confusing task. But if you miss this, you cannot. You can do that by using a manual process as well. But don't do that. We don't need that. As a next step, once we click on the install now, and the next page will be something like this. So Python setup is in progress, and once it is done, you can find Python in the, I'll tell you like where to check that. So in case of Windows, you can see your Python installation in the programs. And also we can check that by going to the command prompt, and we can initialize the command prompt, and then if you issue the command called Python, it will show up you something like this. So once it is done, the setup process is done, you can skip that or stop that based on the instructions given to you. And as a next step, to check your Python installation has been done successfully or not, you can go to the command prompt in your Windows. So this is the command prompt, just I have uh, taken a screenshot from another machine. Now you can open up the command prompt. For those who don't know how to open up the command prompt, it is there in the start menu, or you can simply press Windows button plus R, that is run prompt. In that you can enter CMD, Windows plus R key. It will show you one simple box. In that box you have to enter CMD, and if you hit enter, that will open up your command prompt. So once you are in the command prompt, if you issue the command like Python, it has to show you the Python with version. That means your Python has installed successfully. If that is not coming up, means your Python installation is not done. So somewhere we did mistake, so we need to go back and then do from the scratch. Okay. And one more thing, you might have installed Python earlier, right? Maybe you might have installed Python 3.7 or 3.8 or something. In that case also fine, no issues. But if you do the fresh installation, and if you follow the 3.10.8 installation process, you will be showing as a latest version only. The old versions are not going to show here in case of Windows. So please confirm me, guys, you are all followed the steps, and I can repeat it one more time if you want, if you have not installed it so far, and I can tell you one more time as well. So as I told you, the first step is we need to go to the python.org website. This is the official website for the Python organization, and it has everything. Like it has the documentation. It has all releases. So for what are all the releases Python has made, all these things. But as of now, we are not going to touch those things. We need to go to the download part, and it will show you the respective downloaded version for the your operating system. Since I have taken this from the Windows, it is showing download for Windows. Once I click on that, it will download the software, and you need to double click on that to make a install. And once you double click on that, you will prompt it to go to this particular page. And here two steps we need to do. One is the mandatory step is add python.exe to the path, and second one is you have to click on the install now. That's it. The two things are mandatory to install the Python. And once it is done, your setup will be in progress, and finally it will ask you to close. So once it is done, you can verify your installation is successful or not from the command prompt. If you are not familiar with how to open the command prompt, you need to enter something like Windows button plus R. That is, we are looking for something that is the shortcut to open up the run mode actually. Inside that box, if you enter CMD, CMD no spaces, all in small letters, it will open up the command prompt like this. So once it is opened, and once it is open, and if you give the command called Python, Python, if it is really installed, it is going to give you some message like this. In my case, let me show you. So I'm opening my terminal. So now if I give Python, it has to give me like this. The same thing, but in case of Windows, you don't need to give the Python 3. Python is fine. I'll take a moment to take the feedback from you. If anyone stuck somewhere, please let me know. Um, Please unmute yourself if you have any issues in this, and you are feel free to ask any questions at the moment. Yeah, yeah. Thanks, Vaishya, for the confirmation. If it is done, I will move to the next installation part. That is the installation of the Sublime. Sorry, not Sublime Text, Visual Studio Code. Hope it is done for all. It is successful for all. I'm assuming that. But later, if you feel any issues, please feel free to ping in this. Okay. So the next thing is we have installed the Python software. See, the thing is we can write the Python programs in the IDLE. So whenever you install Python software, by default, it is going to install one small utility called IDLE. This is nothing but integrated development learning environment. So basically, the name itself, it is saying for learning purpose. Like um, we can write the code, but it is not that much effective. We can write, we can save, and we can execute, but the look and feel of this IDLE is not so good. So that is the reason we are writing the code in separate editors like Visual Studio Code or Sublime Text or PyCharm. There are lot good editors outside. They're all free and open source. But generally, just I will give you some kind of an information about this IDLE. Generally, we use this IDLE to try something like whether something is really working or not. For example, I wanted to check something is installed or not. For example, I wanted to know whether pandas is installed in my system or not. If I simply do import pandas, it will throw you some error. Instead of opening the Visual Studio Code, saving the file with some name and sorry, instead of opening the file and saving some code in the file, and upon execution it is throwing an error. Instead of that, I wanted to check whether something is really working or not. I can directly jump into the IDLE and then give that particular thing. Like for example, I wanted to know whether pandas is installed in my system or not. I can simply do that by using import pandas. If pandas is there, of course it's not going to throw any error. Since pandas is not there in my system, it is throwing an error for me. Okay, give me a moment. Okay, now similarly, I wanted to check something like this. Can I do like this? I wanted to add 1 plus 2. What is the output? So I can use this ideally as a simple calculator. You can give any number of, I wanted to multiply a big number 234 into 234, and it is going to give me something like this. I can use this like a simple calculator. I don't need to open up any kind of uh, calculator application in iSystem, and no, I don't need to do that. And also, let me tell you one thing here about Python. Python supports any large number. For example, I wanted to multiply a very large number with very large number. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 into with the same number. See, immediately it is going to give me that output, because Python has no limit to store the values. But the same feature you may not find in other programming languages. For example, if you are if you wanted to execute the similar kind of operation in C or C++, there is some restriction to take the integer values. You can take some 64,565 plus or minus. You can take the positive values and you can take the negative values. You can store your integer can handle that much of integer only, that much of length only. Beyond that, if you wanted to take, you need to go for a some more data types like double int or reals kind of. But since Python is not really going to deal with uh, storing the data type in a with respect to the integer or floats or something like that, it's not going to store any such kind of information in kind of a data type. But that is the reason in Python we can give any number as a input. See, I'm doing one more time. Immediately it is going to give me my output. Right here, I didn't have any limit to store any data. See, not only with the integers, if you wanted to take a string operations or list operations, tuples, dictionaries, sets, whatever the data types or whatever the operations you wanted to perform on any kind of a data type, it is going to react like this. There is no limit to store your data. As long as your memory supports, as long as your cache memory supports, it's going to
Hello everyone.
hey, good morning. So as long as your memory
The
supports, it's
sound
going.
is not coming here to me.
uh, Sorry, Khan, I didn't get you. Okay. And similarly, yeah, the main concept of how to utilize this ideally, right? So for example, I wanted to add two values, x equal to 10 and y equal to 20. So if I say x plus y, it will give me 30. So you don't need to write a program to know these kind of small things. You don't need to really save them in some .py file and execute them by going to the terminal. No, we don't need to do. But if you wanted to check how the things are real, for example, I wanted to test, can I do some kind of an operation like this? I wanted to add 10 with, I wanted to add some 10 with some string called Python. So how your Python program or how your Python statement will react in this case? So definitely it is going to throw some error because we cannot add one integer with one string. So in order to do that, it should be kind of a same type, right? I can add only two integers, or I can add only two kind of strings. See, these kind of information, the basic information we can learn from this ideally. Okay. Now, but I can write the programs and save it and execute it, but it's not the ideal way to do that. We cannot really, yeah, we can write something, but as soon as I close this ideally, my entire code will go off. There is no way of it is not going to save, or it's not going to memorize what you have written, right? So this ideally is just to check something, whether my program or whether my statements are working or not, instead of saving in a file or something like that. So to experimentation purpose only, we are going to use this ideally, right? So instead of this, we are going to write the code in ideally. So ideally, sorry, not ideally, we are going to write the code in some kind of editors. So as I told you, there are good editors outside. One of them is Visual Studio Code. It is really good. Now you can open up your browser and go to Google, and you can just say Visual Studio Code download. So it will, you can click on very first link. I have the screenshot as well for that, right? So if you go to browser, and then if you check for the information like install Visual Studio Code on your browser, it will open up some links. You can click on the very first link, download Visual Studio Code for Mac, Linux, Windows, and it is very straightforward installation. Once you click on the downloaded This is the next page. Once you click on the link, you can choose your operating system based on your usage, like Windows or Linux or Mac, whatever. You can click on that particular respective downloaded installer, and that's it. Only thing is you have to accept the agreement. Once you double click on the thing, you have to accept the agreement and then just click next, next, next. That's it. If you wanted to change the installation um, uh, folder, you can just do like this. But by default, all the installations should be installed in the under programs, right? Yeah, it is very simple and straightforward installation. We don't need to check anything. Only thing is we have to accept the agreement. If you don't accept the agreement, it will not take you to the next level. That you can find it very easily. You have to accept the agreement, then just from there onwards, just click next, 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 and so on. If you wanted to create the shortcut and all these things, yeah, these are all optionals. If you wanted to create a shortcut on your desktop, you need to click on this checkbox. Otherwise, you don't need. I'll give some time to install the software. If it is installed, yeah, we are good to go. Like we are ready to write some basic programs in Python. Let me know if it is done. Just share your comments in the chat box. See, you could use any editor. It's not mandatory use only Visual Studio Code. There are the PyCharm is also one good editor to write the Python code. Okay. Now, once it is done, it is very easy to check whether Python has, sorry, whether your um, Visual Studio Code is successfully installed or not. You can find that somewhere in the desktop, since you have checked the create a shortcut icon, I mean shortcut to the Visual Studio Code. In case of Windows, you can go to the start menu and somewhere you will find the Visual Studio Code. Now I'm opening up the Visual Studio Code since it's already installed in my system. You will see some kind of this kind of thing once you double click on that icon. As I told you yesterday, whatever we are going to learn in this class, all the programs I'm going to save in the uh, one folder called, that is somewhere in my desktop. You can create your own folder somewhere, anywhere in your working directory. It could be in C directory or D directory or wherever. If you are on Windows, yeah. If you are on Mac or Linux, that's up to you. Anyway, that will be stored in the root directory. No issues for that. So I strongly suggest you to create a folder on your desktop or anywhere and create some name called Python class. It's up to you. Whatever the name you want to give, you can give the folder name. Some from here onwards, whatever we are going to write in our Visual Studio Code, all programs we are going to save in this particular directory. So the main idea behind this is once we done with the classes, I have the code, I have all my code in the particular folder. I can share it with you to your respective email IDs, right? So now, so initially, one moment. Hope the installation part is done.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, Sirish.
Good morning. Actually, I have installed the Python software
Mm-hmm.
3.10.8
Right.
version.
Okay.
So you like you told another thing we need to download. What is this? Is there? Can you chat me the link?
Okay, that is Visual Studio Code. Let me directly, yeah, I pasted you link, Sirish. Right. So you can follow the steps I have just shown. Just you can download and you can click next, next, next. That's it. Now, once the Visual Studio Code has been successfully installed, since I have some programs, let me close that. By default, you are not going to see anything in the very at the beginning, right? It will show you similar to like this. It will, you might probably looking the same screen like what I'm saying now. So first thing is you have to do, go to the file and open folder. So open folder, whenever you want to open a file or folder, you need to go to the file section here uh, and click on either open file or folder. Since I wanted to open my folder which I have recently created for my Python programs, which I'm going to tell you in the class, I need to click on the open folder, and you can select that particular folder. You can navigate to the different parts of your computer. It can be a D directory or E directory or wherever you have created. You can go there and then you can select the respective folder. Since I wanted to open the Python class folder on my system, just I am click the open. So with that, it is going to open the respective folder in my Visual Studio Code. See, from here onwards, the program creation or the new Python file creation is easy. So once you are on the exact directory, see, since I have my program already yesterday, I have demonstrated you something. Now, if you wanted to create a new file, you can go over that particular folder and then click on the new file icon. So there are two icons. One is to create a file and one is to create a folder. We are not going to create the folder. Our intention is to create a new Python file. Once you click on that, new create something new file, and you can give the name to the program, whatever the program you wanted to give. See, since this is my first program, let me give something like first program dot py. Py is mandatory. If you don't mention .py, your Python interpreter will not identify that is a Python program. So it will be treated as a simple text file or a document kind of. No, you have to definitely give the extension to your Python program. First program .py. If I hit enter, it will open the first program.py next in my window. I mean, in the terminal, in the window itself.
Excuse me.
Yeah, Srini.
Like while installing, we selected an option box like checkbox.exe, right?
Which one you're talking
While
about?
installing the software, sorry, this one,
Visual
Python
Studio Code.
software. Yeah, yeah. While installing Python software,
Mm-hmm.
we have selected that option button like .exe, right?
No, no. Let me show you one more time. Where are you now? Like,
No, no,
let
no. I already installed. Yeah, this is the one.
right,
Uh,
right, right. You have to select this. Yep. You have
yeah,
to
yeah.
right.
I just have a doubt. Like we already selected .exe, then why we need to choose .py as an extension while saving the file?
Right. So the answer is it is saying add python.exe to the path. So path means, for example, if you install any software, your operating system should know what it is. Whenever we are executing the particular program, first it will look into the path only.
Okay,
That is the reason we have to add the .ext file to the path. There is some concept called environment variables in Windows. We have to add the .exe to that particular path. Then whenever we start running, first it will look for the executable file in the path first.
okay,
So for that reason we have to add, if that is not there, if the .exe is not existed in the path, your operating system will simply throw an error. I cannot find a specific file with .py, or I cannot find the Python software. Some kind of errors it will throw.
okay, got it.
In order to do that, we have to manually add the path. But in the Python installation itself, they have given the option add Python exe to the path.
Thank you.
Right? Okay. Now, see, I have created a new program just by clicking the new file icon here. If I click on new file, it will open up an empty file. Initially, you have to give the program name, whatever the program you wanted to give. But and this is also a good information, like whenever you create any kind of a files, make sure you are giving the meaningful name to the program, because maybe after 1 month or 2 months you wanted to revisit the programs what you have done. It's it will give you a good idea, or this program relates to these particular topics, something like that. Instead of that, if you say 1.py, 2.py, 3.py, that will not give you good sense. Like maybe after some time you may forget what is the concept we have used in that particular program. So that's the reason better to give the meaningful name to the program itself. And also, we should not give, or we should not use some special names to the programs. I will tell you as we progress in the course. We should not use some special names. Those are some, we I cannot store my program with something like print.py. I cannot save my program with if.py, something like that, because they has the special meaning in Python. Not only in Python, in any other programming languages, there are some special keywords. We should not use them as a program names, right? We will see. We will learn them in the future classes. But as of now, try to give as meaningful as could, like give the meaningful names to your program. Since this is my first program, I have given my first program.py. Now, I wanted to write some sample code here. You can give anything. Like if you wanted to print something on your console, you could use the print statement. See, this is the print statement in Python 3. I'm going to give something like welcome to Python learning. You can give any number of print statements like this. I have copy pasted that. Thanks for joining, something like that. This is the Python 3 print statement. But in case of Python 2, of course, it is not there. It is already deprecated. The support for Python 2 is already removed from the Python. But if you wanted to write the same thing in Python 2, the print would be like this. There is no parenthesis. I simply I can give something like this. Welcome. That's it. But this is an error in Python 3. We know that, right? See, that's the reason it is giving, it is denoting with the red lines. Now, I don't want to include in my code because it's not relevant to the Python 3. But as I told you, if you are deployed into some kind of projects to change Python 2 code to the Python 3 code, this is one of the change you could observe from Python 2 to Python 3. Python 3 comes with parenthesis. Python 2 comes with just it's like a utility, whereas in Python 3 print is considered as a function. Now I don't want this line, and I wanted to add some comments to this. So in Python, adding comment is also very easy. If you add something like hash in front of that particular line, it will be treated as a comment. So comment is nothing but the program will not identify that as a execution statement, just that will be treated as an information statement. Whatever you write in front of, I mean, what if you add the hash key, hash button, or hash letter in before the any statement, that will be treated as a comment. It will not affect of your program execution. It will not consider as a program or a Python statement. That's it. This is a single line comment. If you wanted to add, you can add any number of comments to the program. That's up to you. But let me execute this. So this is the simple program we can write. Just I'm printing something. Welcome to Python learning. Thanks for joining. Something like that. You need to save that program just by saving Control S in your systems. Otherwise, it will not save. Right? You have to do Control S. Now, the next step is I wanted to execute this. You can execute the particular program from the Python terminal, or you can execute this from the Visual Studio Code itself. If you wanted to execute this from Visual Studio Code, you need to go to the left hand corner. Like you can see some uh, uh, some cross button and some pyramid button. You have to click over there, and once you go to the terminal from here, so that means we are opening the terminal is nothing but in Windows it is a command prompt only. Let me clear off it. First of all, in order to execute the program, you should be in the correct path, right? Otherwise we cannot execute this. You should be in the correct path first. Since I have opened it from the terminal, by default it will opening the program with the correct path itself. If you wanted to see what is my exact path, you can give something like pwd, present working directory, in case of Linux and Mac. Okay, now if you see, I am there in users under Mouli. Under desktop, I have created my name called my folder name called Python class. So I am in the exact working directory. So this particular program is there in my this particular folder under users, under Chandramouli, under desktop, inside that Python class. See, in order to execute this, or if you wanted to see what are the different programs I have in my particular folder, you can give ls. Ls means it's a listing, whereas in Python you have to give a dir. Sorry, whereas in Windows you have to give dir, but that is fine. I can tell you that as well. But in case of Linux and Mac, it is ls. Ls means listing. See, my program is already there, first program.py. In order to execute this, you have to invoke the compiler. Since I am using Python 3 in my Mac, I have to run the command with I have to invoke the interpreter with the Python 3 and followed by my program name. What's my program name? First program.py. That's it. If you hit enter, that is going to give me the output like this. Welcome to Python learning and thanks for joining. So these are the two statements I have given. And if you observe, this particular statement is not getting printed, or it's not going to be evaluated by the Python interpreter because it is a comment. Comments ignored by the interpreters, right? They're not going to do anything with the comments. That's it. But If you are on Windows, you have to give something like this, Python.
Molly, how to get into that terminal window?
Right. The terminal window, generally we go, you wanted to open in Visual Studio Code itself,
Yes, in Visual Studio Code.
right? So the left hand corner, there is a settings kind of a button, right? Below that, you can see some pyramid icon and some cross icon. If you click on that, you're able to follow me,
Yes, Molly.
right? So once you click on that, you can see something like problems, output, or debug console. You can click on anything. If you click on output, the remaining options will be enabled. There you can find
Got
the
it. Thank
terminal,
you.
right? And this is one way to execute the programs. But there is one more way to execute the program, that is going to the terminal, and then we can do that. See, this is the Visual Studio Code terminal. But there is no difference between this terminal and what I'm going to open now. There is no difference at all. In case of Windows, that is the command prompt. As I told you how to open the command prompt, just by clicking Windows button plus R both at a time, it will show you one kind of a box. In that, just give CMD. If you hit enter, that will open up the black screen. That is your command prompt in Windows. But there you could do that. Now let me execute the same program by opening the terminal also. Now I'm going to open the terminal in Mac. See, this is my terminal. As I told you, like, if you wanted to check your Python installation has been done or not successfully in the terminal, you can issue the command called Python. That will show you something like this, right? The three greater than symbols. Now that means you are in Python terminal, or you are in Python ideally. If you wanted to come out of from that, you have to use the function called quit. QUIT, and open parenthesis and closed parenthesis. If you hit enter, that will be redirected to the terminal again, right? So here, from terminal also you can use the Python, right? If you wanted to use Python ideally kind of a feature, just you can give the command called Python 3. In case of Windows, it is Python, right? If you hit enter, it will redirect me to the Python terminal. You can do what are the operations you wanted to perform, or you wanted to check something. You can do after that. If you wanted to come out from this particular Python terminal, you have to use the quit function. Quit, open parenthesis and close parenthesis. If you hit enter, that will be the your normal Python, it will be your normal terminal or command prompt. The quit will work both in Windows and any operating system, right?
Chandra, if you want to run the program from this window, like how to select the file from the folder?
Which one? From this one?
No, 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 from this terminal. Yeah.
From command prompt, you are saying?
No, from Python terminal. This.
No. From Python terminal, we cannot do that.
Uh-huh.
From Python, so that's the reason we have to come out from that first. Then we need to go to the exact folder and then run the code. See, as I told you, Python terminal is just to check something is working or not. It's a kind of an experimentation purpose. We are
Okay.
not going to write any code, or we are not going to save that. Just
No,
to
no, as we said, like we can run in two terminals, like one is from Visual Studio and the other one is from.
command prompt.
Okay.
Command prompt, yeah. In case of Windows, it is command prompt. In case of Mac or Linux, it is a terminal. The name is just different, but functionality is same,
Okay.
right? See, I am in terminal now, or command prompt now. Um, just I'm increasing the font. That's it. I have opened my command prompt or terminal. If you wanted to see where are you, you can give just ls command. These are the different different subfolders I have in my in the system. So I know where where I have saved my program, right? I need to go to the desktop first. That the command is cd. It will work on any operating system. Cd space desktop. That means since I have saved my program somewhere in the desktop, right? So for that reason, I have to go to the desktop and cd space. So inside that, if you wanted to know what are all the other folders, just you can give ls. And here I wanted to move to the Python class. So again, I need to give the cd Python class, and that's it. If you wanted to know where are you exactly, you have to give the command called pwd, present working directory. So I'm in this exact folder. Now if you see ls, I have two programs in my in this Python class. Python first program.py and hello world.py, and I wanted to execute the first program.py. So same, whatever the command you have issued in the uh, Visual Studio Code terminal, the same command we have to issue here. So Python 3 space first program.py. That's it. If you hit enter, that will print me the output. That's up to you. Wherever you want to execute, whichever you feel easy, you can execute your code from there. You could use the Visual Studio Code terminal, or you could use the just normal terminal as well, or terminal or command prompt, whatever you feel comfort. Okay, try to execute this and let me know if you have any questions. So here we have done two steps, installation of Python and installation of the editor, that is Visual Studio Code. And also we have learned how to execute the program. So this process is same for any kind of a program. I mean, any kind of execution of any program. We will follow the same process through our entire course. Hope it is clear. Any questions?
For
And
hello,
yeah,
for Windows, what we want to use instead of ls dir.
yeah, dir. So I want to stop here for today, and if you have any questions related to the course or any other questions, yeah, please feel free to ask. And also we have shared one Google form to take the timings input. I hope you got the chance to fill that. If not, um, please fill with your feasible time over there. And there is one more a demo session for tomorrow as well. Tomorrow we will see what are the basic things like, um, maybe we will discuss about some keywords, some indentation part, this kind of stuff we are going to discuss. Any questions, guys, so far? All good. My intention is to everyone should able to execute the program. Like if you face any difficulty in that, please let me know.
Bonnie, there is a problem.
Right.
Problem is that when I'm trying to run a program in the Visual Studio Code, it
Okay.
is running fine. Maybe the Python, the extension it is taking by default. And when I'm trying to create through a folder, it's not running.
Can you share your screen, Narendra? I'm stopping my presentation.
You're able to see, right?
Um,
Still not?
yes.
Okay. So when I was trying to create with this, maybe the extension is wrong.
No, extension is correct. .py is fine. Okay. Now, you want to execute it from terminal?
No, from the Visual Studio Code itself.
Okay. Now, can you open the terminal in Visual Studio Code?
Okay.
Okay. What is that? Conda activate base. You have already installed Anaconda as a Python?
Yeah, from earlier I have the Jupyter notebook installed.
Okay. Okay. So now can you try with Python followed by your program name.py here in the terminal?
Okay, so I have to press Control Enter, right?
No need in the terminal itself. No.
In the terminal itself. Oh, it came.
No. See, this is the Python prompt. We are not going to execute any code in this. Come out from this by using quit. Quit open and closed parenthesis. Yeah. Right. Now we are in the Python class, right? So can you
Yeah.
give Python space Python space first program.py. Enter.
Python 3, right?
Yeah, try with Python 3. What is that? Python was not found. Maybe can you open the terminal once? I mean command prompt.
Command prompt.
Right. Yeah. Can you give Python here? Yeah. Enter Python. Close it. And what terminal is saying?
Not found. Run without arguments to install from Microsoft Store.
Right. So there is a clash in between the Python versions. So you have already installed Conda and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So you have to uninstall them first.
Okay.
So you know how to uninstall them, right? Like
Yeah.
go to
Yeah.
the
Yeah. Totally.
do uninstall, then follow the same process, because Conda is one version, Anaconda is a kind of a version. You might have installed a lot of Python versions.
Yeah.
It is getting confused.
Okay. So I'll follow your one and I'll install it from this
Right.
python.org.
Right. So uninstall them first, then you could use the
Sure.
clean install later. Right.
Sure. Thank you.
Any other questions, guys?
Yeah, what are the syllabus you will cover in this one from starting to advanced Python?
Sorry,
What are
library.
what are the syllabus you are going to cover in this advanced Python?
Libraries you are talking about, right?
Yeah, syllabus.
Uh,
No, he's asking what are all the topics we are going to cover in the advanced Python.
Okay, let me share my screen one more time. I have the PPT. Give me a moment. So these are the concepts yeah. So since you have asked about the advanced things, these are all the basics, comprehensions and all these functions. Yeah, after this, we will talk about the file handling. File handling means with the different files like text files, PDF files, Excels, CSVs, and later we will move on to the exception handling, like how to deal with the errors in Python by using the regular expressions, and these things we are going to cover. Yeah, regular expressions, we have different things, like match, search, find all, split. We have different regular expression operators like star, plus, slash w, slash s. These kind of things we are going to cover with different examples. And we will move on to the database access, so like how to create a data, or how to create the database. Inside that, how to create a table, how to access them. Basically we are going to deal with the CRUD operations, reading, writing, updating data using Python, how we can deal with the commits and rollbacks and different database exceptions. Here we can use any database, but by default Python comes along with SQLite 3 as a default database. But we could use Oracle or MySQL or any kind of database, because the database operations are same for all the databases with respect to the Python. And this thing we are going to talk about, and definitely we are going to cover the classes and objects, because Python is an object-oriented programming language. I have mentioned very few topics in the OOPS concept, but it's very vast topic. We are going to cover that, and some web framework. And this is an introduction, basically, like how to create a simple website by using Django, and how to access the APIs, different HTTP protocols, what is MVT architecture, and all these things. And apart from that, I have not mentioned in the slide, but there is a concept called how to do the testing using at least the unit testing using Python. So that kind of things we are going to cover as an advanced things, and most of the miscellaneous things. And these are all the introduction parts, like introduction to the data science, because once you know the core concepts of Python, we can choose any kind of the different area. Like you could choose your career in the data science, machine learning, or Selenium, or web application development using Flask or Fast API. So these are all the different things we are going to cover. But I have mentioned very few topics here, but as we progress, I'm sure we can cover a lot more advanced topics than this, right?
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
So timings.
Timings, yeah. For the timings, we have created a Google form. We thought of giving you uh, three slots. Sorry, two, like 7 to 8, 7:30 to 8:30, or 8:30 to 9:30. Based on the majority, we will go actually. But since this is a demo class, we have just opted for 8:30 a.m., 8:30 to 9:30. And from day after tomorrow, the regular classes will be started.
So tomorrow we are going to announce the actual class timings. So based on the response we get from the other people.
Okay.
Could you please ping the documents where we have to fill up the form? for the classes in the chat window, please.
I think you are a part of a WhatsApp group, right?
Yeah.
So we already pasted
Okay.
over there. So can you please check? Yeah, if in case if you don't get it, please ping me so that I can share with you.
From my phone, actually, it was not opening. So I thought, like, let me try from my laptop. That's why I asked. Thanks.
Okay, so can you please copy that URL from the phone and is it possible or
I'll try it out. I'll try it out.
okay.
Okay, guys. If there is no other questions, yeah, we can wind up the session for the day. Generally, the session uh, will be last for 1 hour only. Any 1 hour, 7 to 8 or 8:30, 7:30 to 8:30 or 8:30 to 9, something like that. And it will take around 60 hours, more than that actually, because I I wanted to make sure everyone is following my program, and I want you to get the same output what I'm getting on my screen. That's the intention of this course actually. Otherwise it's no use, right? If I keep on talking and you just you just being sitting in front of the system and keep on listening, that won't help to learn the program. Not only Python, any program. Whenever you get hands so dirty, then only you are able to get something. That's it for today. Let's
Yeah,
connect.
and please do share these you know demo sessions with your friends or colleagues if whoever is interested, so that at least they can catch up with these videos and they can make a decision on top of these videos. Okay, thank you.
Where I get it this?
Yeah, we are sharing all the links in